My agency consistently hits 100K months, and we do it by only working with a handful of dream clients. And I've done this by doing the complete opposite to what most agency gurus tell you to do. I've done it by building a personal brand. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can build a personal brand for your agency that brings in inbound leads on autopilot. That means that you don't have to chase leads around or spam them with cold DMs or cold emails. When you start to build a personal brand, that means you start bringing in inbound leads that know exactly who you are, what you offer, and the value that you provide. So you don't have to chase them around. You don't have to spam them with cold DMs, spam them with cold emails, offer crazy guarantees that you know at your core doesn't feel right. All of these bro marketing tactics don't work anymore. And the best way to get leverage in your business is by creating storytelling content and building a personal brand. That's exactly how I've done it. So in this video, you're gonna learn how to come up with better stories. What stories should you actually be telling as an agency owner? I'm gonna give you access to AI script writers that are gonna allow you to script content so much faster that sounds exactly like you. I'm going to give you all of the story structures and frameworks that you need to be following. And lastly, I'm going to show you exactly how to create daily habits that allow you to create content without burning out. So if you're an agency owner and you're stuck at 100K a month and you're really trying to break through, you know content is important, but you just can't crack it. This video is going to probably be the most important video that you watch. I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to give you access to every single tool I use to build my personal brand. Let's get into it. Welcome to the AI Story Engine, and I'm super excited to walk you through this program because honestly, all of the tools and resources in this course have completely changed how I create content. I am not a content creator. I'm a business owner. I run an agency. So creating content has always been my Achilles heel. I don't love it. It takes tons of time and I've burnt out multiple times. And this here has been the one thing. This framework and tools and AI assistants have been one of the biggest things that have helped me create not only better content, but content that feels authentic and real, but also converts into sales. And I'm giving it away to you all for free. So please take this seriously and get engaged in the community and use all of the resources, because when used right, it will completely change your content. Right, so let's just jump into what I'm not going to show you, right? It's important. I'm not going to show you how to go viral. I'm not going to show you how to get more views. I'm not going to show you how to have a bigger impact. My only goal is that you, by the end of this, can make more money for your business. And you can do that in two ways. You can either do it because you're saving time on how long it's taking you to create content, or you're creating content that is attracting better clients, bigger clients, more leads, or both. Either way, I want you to focus on revenue because you are a business owner. You're not a content creator. It's okay to focus in on money. I don't care what anyone else tells you. All of the people plowing all of their time and energy into social media, they might lie and say it's for impact and all this other stuff. They want to make money. They want to change their lives. They want to improve their lives. Everything else is a byproduct. Okay, so let's start off with your mindset, right? I want you to be brutally honest with why you're on this platform, okay? So let's tie, not a fluffy mission statement, but let's tie a financial goal, a specific financial goal to what you want to achieve. And I would say either a 60 or a 90-day window. It might be 10K a month. It might be 50K a month. It might be quit your 9 to 5 and go full time. It might be have a business that runs without you. It might be, I don't get to 100K. I don't care. But let's tie a revenue goal and a date associated to that goal. So we have a North Star of why we're trying to achieve it. One of the biggest frameworks or the shifts that I had was I used to obsess about every individual video. But what I come to realize is content is just a long game, right? And it's powered by short-term execution. The people who win are not the best creators. They are the most consistent. So consistency beats talent every single time. So the next thing I want you to do is focus on your output. I want you to make a commitment of how many posts you're going to make over the time period that you've set this financial goal. It might be 100. It might be like mine, 500. But I do not want you to focus on singular posts. I used to be the guy that used to create a post and then stare, waiting for the views, hoping that there was going to be views on that content, being so overly precious about every single video that it then stopped me from progressing. It led to procrastination. It was awful. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to look at volume. So I want you to set a stretch goal, 100, 500, how many posts you're going to be posting by the end of that financial goal to be achieved. Because this is what I come to realize. Content is a long game, right? And it's powered by short-term execution. And the people that win aren't always the best creators. They are the most consistent. And that is a fact. Consistency will beat talent every single time, and that's in every walk of life. So that's what I want you to focus on. You'll be able to see this in this Notion board down below. Fill in these, pin it on a post-it note. I don't know. I'd love to see a picture of someone posting this into the community. Share into the community what your goals are, your financial goal, the date, and how many times you're going to post by. And then obviously, while you're here, one of the most powerful ways to sell anything is by telling a story. What we're going to go through in these modules is the high converting story formula, the 3 must tell stories that you should be telling in your content, who you are talking to, right? Who is it that you're trying to sell to? Let's create an ICP, how you can unlock unlimited stories based on your life experience that can help you sell in business. That's a game changer. And then obviously how to script stories using the AI assistant. Just so you know, there is AI built in here, AI built in here, AI built in here. So once you have this locked in, you should be able to churn out scripts. I mean, for me, it was taking me 4 or 5 hours a week to just script content. Now it takes me 10 minutes. That's a little bit of a reach. Probably takes me about an hour because I go back and forth. If you're happy with that, I'm excited to take you through everything. Next steps, I want you to fill in your financial goal. I want you to fill in your content commitment, and I want you to share that in the community. Then get started on video number 1. I'm buzzing for you. It's going to be exciting. Okay, so I'm going to geek out with you for the next 5 minutes just so you understand the power of storytelling in business. This isn't a new thing. Like, people have been using storytelling in adverts for decades. It's just now become the fancy thing to talk about. But the truth is, most business owners don't tell their story on content very well at all. And this is why I just want to give you an overview of why it's so important. So there's a couple of things that you're probably feeling in a minute frustrated by. One is, like, you know what you're talking about. You've got a good offer. You've got good customers. You get good results. So why are all these competitors doing better than me? Why are they out there more? Why are they telling better stories? The problem isn't your offer or you. It's how you're packaging what you say and how you communicate it. And that's why I want to give you all these frameworks and understandings so you can just repackage what you're doing. A lot of the time, that's all that it is. So let's look at why storytelling works. Basically, when you tell a story, it syncs your brain with theirs. Okay, it's called neurocoupling. So stories light up the sensory, emotional, and motor parts of the brain. So I want you to think this: facts inform, stories transform, right? Like for me, I tell stories when I'm selling. That's normally when I tell the stories. That's when I've really got into storytelling, is when I'm selling. I would never say, oh, okay, we're going to make you X amount of money in this amount of time. I would say, listen, I know one of my clients, Zane, for example, was in the exact same situation. This is where he was: frustrated, burnt out, couldn't get the results. And then this is the process that we took him through. And then this is the outcome. That's so much more powerful than me saying, I'm just going to get you this result, because they can envision where they can put themselves in that client's position. The second thing it does is it bypasses the sales wall. So people ignore marketing, they engage with moments. Stories build trust, connection, and then conversion. Aim to connect with the person rather than think of it as a transaction. The more relatable and the more you aim for that connection, you're going to build trust so much faster. And also, this is key, it makes you more memorable. People forget stats, they forget features and benefits. They remember stories 22 times more effectively. Stats fade, stories stick. You can tell I've used AI for some of these fancy words. Right, so let's look at some real world examples of this. So Dove, the soap company, before, all of their advertisements were all focused on beauty, like high luxury models and features and benefits of what's in the soap, right? And then when they launched this campaign in 2024, I believe it was, they used real women and they focused on real beauty, and Dove being at the heart of that. And then as a result, their sales doubled from 2 billion to 4 billion in 3 years. So stop selling features. You want to try and sell emotions, transformations, and trust. And your customer wants to see themselves in your story or the story. Yeah, place them right at the heart of it. I'll give you another example that's very obvious, is Nike. I mean, Nike have always been great at storytelling, but could you imagine if Nike's ads all look like this, just talking about like features and benefits of the shoe? They wouldn't make as much money. Fact. But what do? They have a place real people or athletes that you want to aspire to, but mainly real people at the heart of their advertising, because it tells a deeper story. Like this kid pounding the street, trying to lose weight, going at it. That's insane. You don't even get to see the shoe. That tells such a more powerful story, gets you to connect with the brand. So real people, real goals, human effort, progress over perfection. So what you can steal from this, show your audience that they belong in your story, make the transformation feel possible and not perfect. That's a key. Like, don't make it all hunky-dory, everything's rosy. Like, show challenges, show pain, show that overcome, because what you do in that moment is they place themselves in overcoming those objections themselves, and it creates this deeper connection. So let's break down what it means for you. In every post, aim to include a personal story, a client transformation, a process story, or an origin story. Like, you have to keep reminding people of the context and the where you started and where you're going, and keep reminding them, because they forget. You're a blip in their day, right? You're an absolute blip. And this is why talking head shouting at people in content doesn't work anymore, because people are sick of it. They're skeptical of everything. And the only way they start to trust is by you becoming more relatable and connecting with them on a deeper level. Okay. So content that converts is more relatable, it's more trustworthy, and it's also more profitable because it makes people want to buy. That's a very, very quick module. We're going to go and break down exactly these frameworks of how you tell a story, but I just want you to understand how important storytelling is and the difference it can make. And I'll see you in the next module. In this module, I'm going to break down the anatomy of a high converting business story. This is the framework of what makes a really good story. But just understand this. The AI assistant in the next module is going to put every story you give it into this framework automatically, right? So this is the hard bit. I'm going to show you everything that you need to understand. But if you want to go to easy mode, go to the next module and just put your stories in there and watch how I do it. But for me, it's important you understand this, because when you engage with the AI assistant, you need to know yourself, why am I doing this? Why has it put it in this framework? So put the effort in just to watch this. Once you get this, there's going to be an aha moment. You will know how to write amazing stories for your business that converts people into clients. Right, let's get into it. Right, so the main thing that I see people do when it comes to business storytelling is that they're either too vague or they're too self-focused, and both make it really boring. So how can we make it super compelling, super relevant? There are 4/5 elements that transform a boring story into a high converting business story. All of the storytellers on socials that are telling short form story follow this in some capacity, right? It's the HCCR framework: hook, context, conflict, resolution. So the hook captures attention, builds curiosity. The context sets the stage and gives specifics. The conflict creates tension and relatability. And the resolution demonstrates whatever it is you're trying to give them, right? What is the outcome of that video? And we're going to break down section by section. Let's get into it. So first, let's jump into hooks. We all know that hooks are super important when it comes to creating content. And we all know that if the hook doesn't work, no one's going to watch the rest of the video. All of that effort that you have put into the rest of that video, if your hook flops, it's going to be a nightmare. That being said, you're going to have hooks that flop, because it's a matter of testing and improving every time you create content. So don't think about getting the perfect hook every single time, but it's about ticking off a checklist that you know that you've done your best, and then you can look back and see, okay, why I did that. When you get an outlier, which is basically a video that you know has either got you leads, customers, views, you look back at it and go, okay, well, what specifically worked in that hook that I can reuse? Yeah. So let's just get into it. So what's the point of a hook? A couple of things that you need to be aware of. A lot of people scroll without the sound on, right? That's super important, because most people focus on just what they say, not what people see. Most don't know who the fuck you are, and they don't care. They're waiting for a train to come home. They're knackered. They've had a long day at work. They don't give a shit who you are or what you're saying. So that's important you understand that. Your hook's only job is to make them stop and go, is this for me? Like, this is interesting. Is this for me? Right? You've got two things. You've got a visual and a verbal hook, right? I used to put all of my attention onto what I said, which was the verbal hook. But now I would say it's more important to focus on visually what grabs their attention. Remember, we're not trying to go viral. You're trying to connect with the right person, but you have to get that attention first, regardless. So things that you can use when it comes to visual storytelling or visual hooks: movement, some sort of walking, lifting, handing something being thrown, lighting Is there mood lighting? Is it dim faces? Is it super bright? Are you out in the street? Are you in the car? Actions. Don't just like say what you're doing. Show it. Are you packing a bag? Have you got luggage at an airport? Are you flipping a whiteboard? It's really important you show, you don't just say. Right. Another one is other people. If there's another person in the video, it instantly makes it more interesting. And then you have things like props, cardboard, signs, your phone, again, whiteboards, Rubik's Cube, football. These are all things that I've used. But one thing you need to do is just avoid boring, bland, standing in front of a blank wall. That is not going to help you tell your story any better. If you think about it, a picture paints 1,000 words, right? I think that's the right saying. That saying exists for a reason, right? Visually, if you can demonstrate, especially if someone's not even got the sound on, you're going to get their intrigue a lot faster, which is going to get them to turn the sound on and watch a little bit longer. And look, one of the best ways to do this is B-roll, right? B-roll has actually saved the game for me when it comes to content, because I've built up now such a big bank of B-roll that I could just use my AI assistant, script something out and tie B-roll to it, footage, and I don't even have to film anything. I could just do a voiceover, which I'll get to in one of the later modules. So I just really want you to think about the visual that people are seeing straight out the gate. Then obviously going into like, what are you saying, right? So what are your verbal hooks? Now I'm going to share loads of verbal hooks and loads of videos that are amazing at brand storytelling. The AI assistant is already pre-populated with tons of storytelling hooks. Ideally, you want to be able to summarize this in one sentence, and that one sentence is what's going to buy the next 30 seconds of their time. So the two ways I normally do it is like summarize or intrigue. So this is John. His startup just made 1.1 million in 5 months, right? Or this DM just cost me 20K, but might have saved my business. You're trying to either like summarize or get intrigue. That's what I do, okay, with my storytelling. But the key here is you keep it simple. Make it raise questions and make it relevant to them, not just interesting in general. Because look, if you want to go broad, you make it super interesting to the general public. If you want to go narrow, which is directly speaking to our ICP, which is the whole point of this content and me teaching this, is that you want them to be thinking, wow, he's speaking directly to me. That's where we want to focus. We're not going for the broad market. We're going for the ICP's attention. So what I want you to do now is, when you're creating your next hook, I want you to literally look at it and go, would I actually stop scrolling for this? You write your hook, you write what visually they're going to see. Would I stop scrolling for this? Is it obvious who it's for? Does it feel human, or is it like I'm trying too hard? What you could do, and what I encourage you to do, is go back through your last 3 videos that you've created, write down the hook, grab a screenshot of what they're seeing, and then I would go back into your ICP AI assistant, copy and paste it in there and say, this is my last video's hook. Can you tell me if this is relatable to my ICP? And I'm telling you right now, it's going to give you feedback. It might even help you script it, knowing that one. But I just want you to get better at understanding, like, what should you be doing in that first 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. I'm going to add in the bottom of this resource a bank of hooks so that you can look at, okay, well, these are all the different types of hooks that I can use when doing storytelling. All right, next up is context. So you're setting a stage without losing a room. Context is super important, right? One of my storytelling mentors that I paid to come and visit and teach me storytelling was like, you want to do your hook and context within like 5 to 8 seconds, if possible, or as quickly as you can, because that's what's going to earn the right to keep them to watch longer. So what does the context actually do? It helps them understand what's going on and care enough to follow the rest of the story. So it should never feel like a really long, drawn out backstory. The goal is relevance as quickly as possible. Now, there's free script approaches that I like when it comes to crafting context. What we're doing today, right? Keep it super present, light, curiosity driven. Right. Today, I'm going to turn 3 fail videos into 20K in sales. Today, I'm going to build an AI that can write scripts better than me in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Do you know who's amazing at this? OMG, Adrian. He's so good at this one. Today, we're going to learn how to bang, and he goes straight into it. Straight away, you know what you're getting from that video. The next is backstory, right? So this works when your journey matters to the lesson. So use it to build an emotional connection, especially if the viewer needs to care about you or care about the outcome. So I like using backstory quite a lot. I've done it with my content engine. It's like 3 months ago, I set a goal to build a content studio, or four weeks ago, I built this AI assistant that done this, right? 2 months ago, I almost had to shut down my agency. Yeah. Instantly, it just sets the stage of going like, okay, what's going to happen next? The third is problem first. Now, people always like seeing people going through pain. They like people going through pain, right? So tease the challenge immediately to build momentum. This one mistake almost tanked my client's entire content strategy. We're about to lose 50K contract because one bad video. People want to see people suffer. So if you leverage that to get someone's attention, they're going to again get bought into the rest of the story. What's key is that you got to keep it specific. No one relates to like, and this is a big issue. Our client just made £1 million. Or you'd say, instead of a client, you'd be like, a fintech startup with 12 employees who's going to run out of cash in 60 days. That is super specific. Yeah. Make sure it's visual. So instead of just saying I had a hard day, I was sitting in my car, head against the wheel, wondering if I should quit. But ultimately, normally I'm at my desk or I'm standing up. I was sitting down, like cross-legged, talking into camera. It felt like on a personal level. Just even sitting on the floor was a different mood to the video. And then that leads me on to the next thing, which is your tone. Your tone's super important. Are you nervous? Are you worried? Are you fearful? This only works when you tell your own stories. And this is why a lot of people fuck up, is like they'll get scripts off AI that don't sound like them, isn't their story. Then they can't connect it to their tone, their emotion. And then it's not relatable to your ICP. Right, next is conflict or stakes, right? Stakes are super important because when you create conflict in a video or a story, it creates tension, right? And that tension instantly creates interest. People are interested in issues. I said this earlier. So what is beautiful, when you get the conflict right, you will get your ICP going, I've been there too, or I know how that feels, or damn, that looks tough, right? And it instantly connects you to who you're speaking to. So make sure that when you're talking about conflict, it's clear, it's easy to grasp within 1 to 2 sentences. It's emotional. You want to tap into a real emotion. Is it stress? Is it fear? Is it frustration? You want to make it relevant, right? Directly align it with your ICP's pain or goal or objections or skepticism. The one thing you cannot do is dramatize it. Like, don't make it over dramatized to the point that it's not believable. If it's a real story of either yourself, your business, or a client, then it's going to land. But it has to be honest. It has to be honest tension. It has to be very clear stakes, and it has to be a relatable struggle. Now, don't get me wrong. You can play on this a bit, but it has to be real. Yeah. The bigger the stakes, the higher the interest is going to be, the more they're going to be bought into your story. Now, if the stakes you share reflect an existing objection or skepticism with your ICP, they're going to stop scrolling and go, damn, this video's for me. They're going to be bought into it. I promise you right now. But if you stay surface level, the story's going to be forgettable. No one's going to care. But if you're specific, honest, then it's going to be, I'm telling you, 10 times more relatable. Okay. And then on to the last one, which is resolution. I mean, this is pretty simple, right? Just make sure the viewer's time was well spent, right? You've spent all this effort. Just make sure it's worth their while. Because if you do, it cements their trust and it sets you up for whatever you want them to do next. So whether it's your story ends with a win, loss, or, it's unclear, they have to feel like they've got something from spending that time watching you. So the 4 types of resolution is success. Like, you solved the problem and you got a tangible result. You didn't win, but you learned something useful. It's ongoing, like you're still in the middle of it. So for me, like one of the ones I did with this is like, I had an opportunity to build a content studio with my friend, or do I just go and build it on my own? And I genuinely still now to this day, I don't know which way to go. But I asked my audience, what do they think? And the amount of engagement I got on those posts, people are now bought into my story. They're waiting for me to drop another video where I'm going to go with it. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. And the 4th one, which is is important, is insight and value. Is there something, for example, my one was like, it's Sunday scripting content videos. It's taken me hours. I'm dyslexic. My kids keep asking me to play. And instead I'm in here like writing content. So I'm going to create an AI assistant that can do it in minutes. Show them how I built it. Show them what it does. then get my son to come and say, hey, Dad, do you want to come play now? And I'll be like, yeah, let's go. And then the call to action is, look, if you want this AI assistant, drop a comment below. That's like easy. Value, storytelling, pain, like all of it in one. And some of these things do combine, by the way. But just listen, make sure do not end with like generic, and things were great. Like no one cares. Like you need to make it more human. You got to be honest. Don't fake wins. Really try to avoid bragging without substance. Like if you're talking about revenue numbers, how and why is that relevant to your ICP? And then last thing, I mean, call to actions. I wouldn't say put a call to action on every single video, but if you are going for insight and value, you can reinforce things with a call to action. You'll never ever, I really don't want you to sell from your content. I really don't want you to sell from your content. The way you got to look at it is every piece of content is a potential to initiate a conversation with your ICP. So you might ask them to engage, drop a this below, ask a question, but you don't want to be selling your offer from it. In my opinion, you just want to initiate a conversation, because if they engage, it invites you to say, hey, I saw that you messaged this or you said this, and you can start that conversation in DMs. You never sell from your post. You always sell from DMs. Yeah, but you can reinforce this. You make it conversational, reinforce the story, start some sort of engagement, but do not try and close. Yeah. And then last thing, I just want you to leave with this reframe, because it's something that's helped me over the past, is don't obsess over views. And I'm going to have to keep reminding you of it. I remind myself of this every time. It's like, you do want views as an indicator of, are you improving the videos that you're making? But our goal is to make money from the people that are watching, right? If you're getting 100 views, for example, on your stories or a video, that's 100 people watching you. Now, if you went and done the same thing on a TED talk and you had 100 people in a room, you'd be absolutely buzzing. What's the difference? You're still on that stage. You are. So just envision that 100 people being your ICP. They might not be. I mean, there's a good chance they won't be, but there will be your ICP amongst those people. And you're on the stage. Every video is an opportunity for you to get on stage and talk directly to that person and help them and share something with them. Don't obsess over the views. I want you to envision them being that 100 people, those ICPs watching you on stage, present your story, your results, your value, and don't obsess over those views, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to make money and impact those ICPs, those ideal customers, and speak directly to them. Anyway, that was the hard bit. Now you understand it, get into the easy bit, which is the AI scripting tool that's going to help you put all of your stories into this framework. Okay, so in this module, we are going to look at, who are you actually talking to? Like, who are you creating content for? Over my 800, I don't know if you can see that. You see that? Over my 855 posts, which I'm very proud of. One of the biggest things and mistakes that I've made in the past is not actually speaking directly to an ideal customer. So ICP stands for ideal customer profile, customer avatar, ideal whatever it is, the person that you're trying to help. The mistake I've made over those 855 posts in the past is that I've created content for myself. I've created content for what I like, what I feel like, what I romantically fall in love with. That isn't always what's led to sales. And you're probably doing a similar thing where you're over precious about what you want to create. And then that's leading you to either compare yourself to people that do not have the same customer avatar as you, or you are creating content that just never is going to connect with someone that's going to pay you. And I'll give you a prime example of this. When I first started building my personal brand around COVID times, I was putting a lot of money into carousels, and I was posting carousels every single day. It was actually the thing that grew me from 0 to 50k, but I had one small problem. The majority of people that followed me didn't follow me because of the information I was giving them in the carousel. They followed me because they liked my fancy designs. When I say I hired a designer, Dane Walker, one of the best in the game. What it led to is the majority of my audience now are based all over the world, but they're graphic designers. They're never going to pay me a bean, because they don't run ads, they don't do funnels, they're just not my ideal client. So don't fall into that mistake, right? Do not want to attract the wrong audience. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be people that enjoy your content and it might be in a different audience, but you just don't want to have the core base, not a good fit for your offers. Okay, so a lot of the time, your dream client or your ideal client can be a past version of yourself. So that's often the case, especially if you're like a coach or a consultant. You can really tap into those early emotions where you was going through your own customer journey and your own progress. And you can look back and say, right, okay, I remember being at this point. So tap into that. So yes, a lot of the time you are speaking to an older version of yourself. Think back, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. Where was you at? What was you going through? What was the problems you were facing? Do they still exist? You can tap into those emotions, and it allows you to go backwards and figure out what steps you needed to go through in order to get where you are today, if that's the case. If not, we're going to use this empathy mapping and ICP AI assistant. It's going to help you map it all out very easily. Okay, but one thing I really want to go into before we go into walking through the exercise is a mindset shift, right? I don't want you to think of like 1,000 posts that we can come up with. I'd rather you have depth than reach with your content. Notice I'm not saying perfect, I'm saying depth. So I'd rather it connect with them rather than going viral, because the people you connect with are going to pay you. The people you go viral with are going to watch for entertainment. Sometimes it overlaps, but that is not the primary goal. So speak directly to this person as if like you're across the room from them. The more authentic and relatable you are to the pain points and problems they have, the more they're going to connect with you, right? So then this tool is going to take us through two things. One is going to be kind of like the demographics, psychographics for your ideal customer. Then it's going to go into an empathy mapping framework, which is where we go deep. It's basically where you get inside of their heads. So what are they thinking, feeling, hearing? What do they see in their own world daily? What do they say to themselves? What is their self-talk like? What are their fears, their frustrations? What are their dreams and goals, right? So that's kind of like an overview of why it's important very quickly. Let me go through this with you. Now, I'm going to give you the easy way and the hard way. The hard way is you have a good idea and you want to spend the time getting it all out of your head. You can come in here, this Notion board, and you can type out all of this information. And once you've done that, you can copy it. You can click the link to the ICP and Empathy Map Assistant. You can paste it in, and it's going to help you elaborate on some of the ideas you have. Or the easy way is you just click this button here. So you go. Now, what I would do, so it's going to start off with demographics. What I typically do is I use this dictation, which is a new feature in ChatGPT. Save me, I love it. And I would talk into the mic and answer the question. I'm going to fast forward it so you don't get bored, but I'm going to give you an example. Can you just come up with a normal name, not a funny name? I'm not great at coming up with names for ICPs. They are typically between, I would say, early 30s. So they've had some success in business, but they're just not living up to their potential. Bosh, that goes into there. Upload. Now it should give you another little set of questions. I've done it so it's not overbearing. Okay, so here's the next ones. What kind of job? So they are either a freelancer, agency owner, coach, or consultant. They have some level service business. They're creating content online. Where do they live? They typically live in UK city areas. Right, so that goes up. It's a little bit of encouragement there. We're doing great, apparently. So and then I just look over this very quickly just to make sure haven't missed anything. Now, the beauty of doing it beforehand, you can really think about your answers. On here, I'm doing it on the fly, but it just depends how much you know your ideal customer. Okay, let's go into the last section. He does hang out with his friends and family, mainly during the week. Obviously, he has friends, but he's more interested in his entrepreneurial growth and invested into that, providing for his family. When it comes to money, it's about creating a legacy and security for his family. Why might he say no to joining my program? So my program, to be fair, this is free, so you shouldn't have any objections. But, all right, let's upload this. Now it's going on through the 3 to 10 problems. Right, lacks confidence. Hates the fact that he can't stay consistent. Hates that content is wasted. Feels like it's waste of time and energy. Knows he needs to do it, but also gets frustrated that it doesn't generate any revenue or time or money, but it takes a huge chunk of his week up if he dedicates to it. Okay, great. So it's now put all of the problems in. So what type of person is he? He is a very positive person. He's a very ambitious person. Okay, that should be the last one. This chef's kiss. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with that. So then what it will do is it's going to give me an empathy map. So empathy map is like, what do they think, feel, see, hear, say, do, pains, gains, right? It's just another framework you can start looking through, another lens to get really deep into how they're thinking and feeling. So think, feel, worries he's not living up to his potential, wants to be seen as a leader in his space, but doesn't know how to make it happen. Constant frustration around content, feels like he's failing at it. Dreams of building a legacy. Thought leaders, yeah. Friends succeeding online and getting recognition he knows he deserves too. That's a big one. You're so good at what you do, more people should know about it. Why aren't you posting more? Content is king. You have to be consistent. Influence saying, just tell your story, which makes it sound easier than it is. This is so powerful, like so powerful. So it's going to put all of that down, right? Read through it, make sure it makes sense, add anything else that you want. You could say expand this to 10 under each category. So just expand it further. So that's going to give you 10, which is, look at all of these. These are additional ones. Believes in hard work, but hates spinning the wheels. Craves internal peace, a system, a rhythm, something that works. Get excited by the idea of legacy, but overwhelmed with how. Use AI to save time. It's easy. Just tell your story. That's what people connect with. But how, right? And so that's a hook. People say just tell your story on social media, but how? What stories do you start? What stories do you tell? Here's free, like you can just go straight into hooks out of these pains. So look, this is powerful, right? Now you've got an idea of who this ICP is. Let's see what it's saying, right? So now it's going to give you a copy and pastable table and a positioning statement. And the reason why I've given you this, right, it's really important for down the line. I want you to be able to copy and paste this into a document or go back into your Notion board and copy it. Oh, where is it? Copy it in here. So you've always got it. I would just keep it a clean Google Doc if I'm honest. And the reason why is when you come to create your offer, or when you come to create content ideas, or when you come to create your story mapping mining tool, you can just upload it and it's going to make sure that the stories you tell relate to your ICP. Full circle. I know what I'm doing, guys. I know what I'm doing. So it's giving you this. So copy and paste this into a Google Doc. You could list it in bullet points. Ask to list it in bullet points. And then it's given me an ICP positioning sentence. I help ambitious service-based business owners who want to build consistent personal brand that attracts clients, but struggle with confidence, content overwhelm, and lack of momentum by giving them a proven system that makes content simple, relatable, and true to their voice. I mean, it's a bit of a mouthful. I would just be like, I help business owners create storytelling content using AI so that it gives them momentum, consistency, and they can show up as their authentic, real voice. Can you help me? That's just me brain dumping what this ICP is, positioning sentence. Can you just take the best parts out of that and make it a little bit more clearer? Because your one's a little bit of a mouthful. I help business owners create consistent storytelling content using AI so they build momentum and show up as their real, authentic voice. I help business owners turn their story into content that's consistent, authentic, and powered by AI. So they finally build momentum and grow their brand. They're a lot better. I would have kept pushing on this because I don't think they're amazing, but it's done. Take out your positioning statement, put it at the top of your ICP document, put all of your empathy mapping into here, and then you're ready to go on to the next step. If you're a business owner and you want to create content that actually connects with people, I'm talking, they see a video and they're messaging you saying how relatable it is, then this is for you. Because the truth is this, you already have enough stories. You just don't know which ones to tell and how to find them. And this is one of the biggest blockers I see business owners. I don't know what to talk about. I don't want to sound braggadocious. I don't want to trauma dump on social media. So I actually created an AI assistant to help you. It's basically an AI ChatGPT assistant that interviews you and extracts the best stories that are relatable to your ICP, your ideal customer. So it's going to extract the real lived stories from you that matter the most to your audience or your ideal customer. And it helps you connect the dots. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to use the story miner. I'm going to show you how it pulled my own story out and structured it for me, and how to turn that raw emotion into scripts that actually sound like you using ChatGPT. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm excited to show you this one because one of the biggest things that business owners always say to me is like, they don't know what stories to tell. So I was racking my brains on like, okay, I can give you an AI to write you scripts, but how does that help you with actually like identifying what stories are important, not only to tell, but also important to your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile. So I created this. So this is a story miner. Basically, it's going to interview you. It's going to unpackage and unravel your stories, right? So I'm going to walk you through it step by step, how to use it. And it's going to extract the best stories from your journey. Let's give it a go because I'm doing this live, yeah? Just quickly before we go into it. So I've kind of programmed it to tell a few different stories, but the transformation timeline, kind of like what your origin story is your client journey, certain journeys that you've taken your clients through for them to make a transformation. The fourth is your values and illustration. So, and identify stories that demonstrate what you stand for, what you believe in. The beauty of this is it's going to make it personalized to you. I don't want any of this cookie cutter. I know there's a lot of people teaching it, but yeah, I like making things personalized to you, because if you're someone that isn't great on camera, or you're getting better at camera, you just copying a script that AI is giving you is not going to help you. So the first prerequisite that you need to have to go into this module, I would say you have to have an outline of your ICP. So who is it at least that you're trying to help? Don't have to go into major detail on this, but just have an idea. And then the other thing is to have a Chrome extension that I like to use. It's called Voicing, right? It's this little thing up here. Just a dictation tool, so you can speak into the mic and it's going to type it all down. You can use this voice mode and it will literally go back and forth like an interview, but I want you not to type. I want you to talk into the mic. It's important. It gets your tone, your energy, your excitement, everything about how you're speaking about your thing, everything it asks. So that's key. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing I am going to do, I already have an ICP. So I'm going to upload my ICP, which is, I do show you how to create an ICP in other modules, ICP, right? And then I'm just going to use this. So I've uploaded my ICP. Can you take me through the stages of extracting as much of my story as possible so that I can leverage it for my content? Okay, so it's pulled out bits from my ICP, stage 1, and it's going to ask you questions, okay? If you want to do it in voice, you can do. And then you just answer the questions. So I grew up in a council estate in Southeast London, Forest Hill, with my single mum. Didn't have a dad. He wasn't around. He wasn't really interested in my life. Had another family. So it was my mum mainly who just worked her butt off to provide for me and gave me the best upbringing. Living on a council estate is one of the best upbringings you can have personally. And all I did was play football. And that's when I got my first love for football, like learning how to play football, getting better. And I managed, by hook or by crook, in secondary school to go and play for Crystal Palace and then on to Brentford, which is what I thought my first career was going to be, become a professional footballer. Had a few things wrong with me, really. I was dyslexic, probably ADHD, but sensible as well. Like, I wasn't someone that was reckless. I liked school. I enjoyed school. And I was okay in school. Like, I wasn't a naughty kid or anything like that. Hit send. And then what it's going to do, it will give you back foundation stories. So look, it's got to come up with 10 ideas there. Evaluating structure and school, not typical rebellious underdog. So it's giving you like things that you can pull on. Now let's move into a next stage, professional evolution, major turning points. All right, cool. So when my football career ended, it ended really tragically because, not tragically, but I only had one real shot to prove myself at football, and I let fear overcome me. The captain got injured in the warm-up. I wasn't even in the squad. And then the manager come and found me and asked me if I could play. And I bottled it, like completely bottled it. I think I told him like I had a niggle, and I never got an opportunity to play in the first team ever again. New manager came in, that one got sacked, and they got rid of me on a transfer day, and I had to go and play semi-pro, which is the hardest lesson. You can't chase something for 15 years of your life, or 10 years of your life, and then you bottle it. It's horrible. So I always now know that fear is an opportunity to grow rather than a reason not to progress. So that is the biggest thing that's ever taught me in life. Okay, so key turning points. So this is going to you bottled your one shot of professional football, and learn never to let fear make your decisions again. What's amazing about this is it's connecting it to your ICP. So learning to sell on the gym floor, zero confidence, zero training, just human connection. Every coach and consultant will relate to this. Permission to follow the skill, not the title. Hating PT, discovering talent from for sales, and letting that guide my next move. Don't get me wrong, not all of these are going to be perfect, right? But you're getting an idea of it's pulling out. The more you give it, speak to it like a friend, like a therapist. I'm telling you, it's going to give you so much back. What people do, the mistake they make is they'll just like give 1-word answers, 2-word answers. Literally give it everything. No one else has to see this, but it's going to give you so many ideas on how you leverage stuff and turn into like relatable stories. Okay. Look at this, brother. The answer, that final one, gave me chills. Oh, God. This is the first time I'm using this, guys. I don't think I need to tweak it, right? Here's all of the like authentic stories that align to your ICP's journey. So how would I use this? All right, what to do with these story leads? Personal brand post, carousel, short form, content pillar, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Now you got the raw truth, title, content, rooted lived experience, aligned to IC pelled. Want me to organize these into content categories or content types, belief shifting, proof. I mean, let's get it to do that. I didn't even program it to do it, but let's do it. Yes, please do that. Okay, cool. Like, I'm really happy with this. It gives you all of the ideas of your stories and how you can leverage them. So what I would now do is take one of these stories and put it into the AI story bot. First of all, bank this, put this into your Notion board, put it into a Google Doc, save it, right? And then I would take out one core concept and move it into the story AI bot that's going to walk you through that framework to tell a better story about this. And I would do the same thing. Put it in, here's my idea, this is what happened, and it's going to take you through a process of making it the best script that you possibly can. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this has played out. And yeah, I love it. Do you need to put it in a table? Nah, I think that's fine. All right, guys, listen, I've done that in live just to prove how it works. I'm actually really, really pleased with it. You should have more than enough stories. You could see how passionately I was talking. I was talking as myself. You could get to elaborate on here. So let's say belief shifting. Help me expand on this story so that I know I can really touch on my ICP's pain points. The setup. I was certainly playing Brentford. I worked my whole life to get to this point. Council estate kid, no dad around, single mum, was grinding. I was the most gifted, but I outworked everyone. Then came the moment, my shot to play in the first team. I lied. I said I was injured, but I wasn't. I was scared of messing it up, scared I wasn't good enough. And just like that, the chance was gone. I never got another one. That one decision haunted me for years, but eventually it taught me something. Fear isn't the enemy. It's a signal that I'm standing right in front of my next level. From that day on, I made a vow. If fear shows up, I don't freeze, I move. You know what fear looks like when you're running a business. I'll post tomorrow. What if they judge me? What if I tell my story and it doesn't land? That's fear. It's your signal to press post. I mean, tell me this ain't fire. The only thing scarier than stopping me into a moment is letting it pass. Fear is the gate. Your future is on the other side. My God. That's me. I'm dropping a mic on that because that's absolute fire. Right, so most AI tools can help you create content faster. We know that, but not many of them can actually sound like you. And if you're a business owner and you're trying to build trust with your audience, then it is so important that your scripts sound like you and not a generic AI robot. But in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to use this Storybot AI, which is a ChatGPT assistant that I created to help me tell authentic stories. I couldn't ever get these stories out of my head down onto paper, and I created this AI assistant that everyone goes mad for, and I thought it's about time I showed everyone how to use it. You're going to see how I turn real moments into story-driven content, how the bot restructures it into a storytelling framework, and how you can use it without sounding like a ChatGPT clone. So if you're building in public as a business owner and you're creating content, this is going to be one of the most valuable videos you watch today. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I use the Storybot. This has helped me script most of my story videos that you see on Instagram. I created this for me, and now I've wrapped it into this course. What actually happened was I got asked to do a mastermind, and I presented like how to structure a story, a short form story. Anyway, I've gone through it and I was like, that's the hard bit. Let me just show you how to easily do it. And then I've showed them this bot and I gave it to their community and they went bananas. So this should be paid for. I don't care what anyone says, but I give it away for free because I know how much it can help. So I'm going to take this from the story mining exercise. It gave me a story. I'm going to put it into here and I'm going to show you how I use it. Right. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So this was the story that I got from the miner. So this is what I love. This is what I programmed it for, and this is what makes it different. It asks you questions to make sure we get the emotional heart of the story. That personalizes it for you. Doesn't matter what anyone else does. It's your idea and it's your story. Now you have to give it context, okay? So let's go through this live. When I first did that, honestly, I was so scared. I could hear the crowd outside. It was literally during the warm-up at the home game. There's probably 30,000 people outside. And I was just shaking at my core. I think he knew as well. I genuinely think he knew from my response. But I just literally overcome with fear. I always had this underlying feeling that I wasn't good enough at football. I I never believed in myself. I just was always fighting. That's why any game I would never said that I played well or I smashed it. Or as you can see, when I'm doing that, I'm going into detail. I'm not giving one word answers. I'm not giving fluff. I'm talking with passion and real. That is crucial for relatability and authenticity. People worry about showing up on camera, but they don't show up as themselves because they're reading a script that doesn't resonate with them. And that's when you're not really going to touch home with that. I'm telling you right now, all of these people online that are scripting content pumpers, they're using AI. So don't worry about using AI, but use it in a way that's going to help you, not hinder you. All right, so let's see what it's come up. So it's got the hook. So you can see that it's got the different frameworks, right? So we've got the hook, the stakes, the journey or shift, the lesson, the takeaway, right? So this is programmed with some of the best storytellers frameworks, like the best. I paid a lot of money for them to coach me, go on their courses, come and visit me and do mentorships. Like this is all based on their story structure. So let's see what it's like. I was 17 playing for Brentford, 30,000 fans outside, warm up, first team debut, and I lied. I said I was injured, but I wasn't. I was scared. Scared I'd mess it all up. Scared I'd prove the voice in my head right. The one that always said, you're not good enough. I'd spent my whole life outworking people, but I never believed in myself. It's making me emotional speaking about it. And in that moment, I froze. I let the opportunity pass. Nobody knew I did that. Not until years later when I started creating content. That same fear came back. Camera ready, sweating, my girlfriend's friend. That's like, okay, we can cut this out. Come outside, let's shoot right now. Shaking, but this time I moved and it clicked. That fear is not a warning, it's a signal. It means there's something on the other side worth chasing. You know what fear looks like in business? I'll post tomorrow, blah, blah, they'll flop me. What if it flops? But if you weren't scared, it wouldn't matter to you. That fear, it's proof you care. And that's exactly why you need to do it. The only thing scarier than stepping into that moment is knowing you let it pass. Fear is the gate, your future's on the other side. Bit cheesy. So now me, personally, I would go, okay, I want you to cut out the fluff here. We don't need to give context on my girlfriend's friend. She's a presenter. Push back on that if you think it should be kept in. Other than that, I like it. I talk to AI like it's my best friend, like it's in the room. And I don't think many people do. That's why the beauty of like using this dictation is so much better. Same voice, same choice. And this time I moved. That fear, it's not a stop sign. It's a signal. It means there's something on the other side worth chasing. If you weren't scared, it wouldn't matter. The only thing scarier than stepping into the moment is knowing that you let it pass. I like that. That's cold. There you go. So what you can also do, I programmed it to do. Can you give me B-roll ideas? And it's going to give you a shot list. Tell me I'm not a G without telling me I'm not a G. That's sick. Gassing myself up now. Sorry, guys. I mean, some of this stuff you ain't going to be able to get because it's old, but still loads of ideas for B-roll. You can't say, oh, I didn't know what to shoot. All right, let's work on a new idea. Can we work on a new idea? Okay, let's think about this. What moment experience do you keep coming back to in your head lately? So let me think about this. Okay, one of the biggest things I think I see content creators, business owners make is that they're trying to be content creators and they're romantic about the art of creating content when really the content should serve a purpose in their business, and they're too romantic about it. I can say this honestly because I've been there and I wanted to be like these great content creators that tell amazing visual stories, blah, 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 blah. Truth is, you're probably 10 to 30 clients away from completely changing your life, right? Now, if you don't have the money to spend on advertising or hire a big marketing agency, you need to create content in this day and age. It's going to help everything. That content needs to be an asset for your business, and you need to look at it like that. Is it valuable enough that someone would pay for it? Is it valuable enough that it warrants the time you're going to invest that's going to take you away from your business? And then it's about building the systems and structures around it so that you can leverage it. See, I just riffed. I just go off. I just think of an idea and I go off. Like, stop trying to be a content creator. You're a business owner. Your content isn't your art project. It's your marketing. And I get it. I've been there trying to make the perfect video, cinematic edits, viral hooks. But the truth is you're probably 10 to 30 clients away to change your life. You don't need views. You need revenue. Do you know what? I've actually got a Notion structure that actually goes through the whole process of how I manage all of my content. Should we add this in as a CTA? Guys, this is not rocket science. I want you to go and use this. I want you to come up with an origin story. I want you to come up with either mainly your origin story, because I want you to pin that to your IG profile. If you don't want to do your origin story, do a transformation story, how I took client from here to here, or you went from here to here doing X. Give this a go. I want to see in the community you sharing your scripts. What would make me happy is if you just go on and shoot the video without trying to get licensed to share the script. Does that make sense? Don't just share the script. I'd rather you put the video in there based on the script you wrote, and then we can iterate. The goal is quantity, not, it is quality, but it's quantity first, because you want to get into consistency first. There's one more trick. So there's a couple of content creators that I love, right? Leo Magnuson, I'll butcher his name, man, he's going to kill me, and Gabe, right? They're the three guys that I love the most about put stories together. So what you can do, if you want to say, if it's not landing right, you could go, can you tell this story like Gabe, right? And it's going to give it a different energy. Again, this is more like his style of scripts. Or you could say, can you now do it like Leo? What I'm trying to say is these guys are content creators first. So their level of creativity is insane. When they do their visual story, it's insane. You don't need to go to those lengths. But yeah, that'll give you some other frames to look through if your script's not landing. So that's it, nice and simple. So if you want to start using this storybook for your content, click the link in the description. You'll be able to access the community, which is free, and you can download it from there. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, I want to talk to you very quickly about B-roll because it's super, super important, but a lot of people overthink B-roll. And it's been one of the things that have made me create content so much easier, because once you create this bank of B-roll, your team or yourself, if you're still editing, can always leverage this bank of content that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. A picture paints 1,000 words, right? So you want to be showing more than you are just saying with your content. It's going to really take your content to another level, but just don't overthink B-roll. B-roll is just clips of footage that you can do voiceover with, and it's just showing what's going on, right? So you don't have to talk. It's low effort. Main thing that I do with my B-roll is just throughout my day, I will just capture events. So like now I could plop this up on the side. I would highly recommend shoot a lot of your footage when you're doing B-roll in 0.5, because you can capture more of the surroundings and what's going on. So even when I'm walking and talking, I'll have it on 0.5. If I'm in the gym, if I'm at my laptop, if I'm working, if I'm on Zoom, if I'm cooking, whatever I'm doing, I'm normally on 0.5. I'll literally just plot it up against the side. 20 to 30 seconds, that is it. That is it. You don't have to overthink this. I would say for the next 7 days, try and capture as much of what you're doing throughout your day. I would say 7 to 10 videos every single day. Doesn't matter what you're doing, just start capturing it, because you can use it in your content. Now, if I'm sharing results on my laptop or my computer or numbers, I will use +1 or 1 times or 1x, whatever it is. Yeah. And I'll just zoom in on that footage. That's the only time I use 1x is when it's that. And then time lapse. If I'm going to be like, I don't know, working for a long period, if I'm training and I'm staying in the same spot. Thing with time lapse is it's a little bit lower quality, but that's fine. You know, if I was going to say, right, I'm going to create a course in the next hour, I would time lapse 10 minutes footage, record it. But it is so key to how your video will perform and also making your life easier. And I'll show you for why. So let me share my screen, right? Now, a lot of the guys that tell like really engaging stories and high effort stories, they will be shooting specific B-roll for that video. I don't think you should start there, me personally. I think you should start documenting your day first with B-roll and then start piecing videos together, because I want you to get into a habit of collecting B-roll, using B-roll, rather than overthinking every single video for the next, I don't know, I'd say next 2 weeks. Right. But in here, you'll have access to this, which is a B-roll database. You can put in here whatever you want, right? And all you would do is you would link into Google Drive what this video is. So when you hire an editor, or even for yourself to make your own time easier, you can just link your URL to this video. So every time you're going to be using it, you can come in here. Now, what you really want to end up with is folders, right? So you have folders of B-roll. So if I ever wanted to footage of me training, I could just look in here and there's going to be like crazy amount of videos of me training. And this is story. Did you see how high quality those videos were? I actually hired a videographer to come and shoot B-roll with me for a whole day. What I found is B-roll shot on your phone is more authentic than it is than the high production ones. And also you kind of need to be fluid with it. Like you don't want to be overthinking it, because otherwise then you're kind of like, doesn't feel real. Whereas if you're just collecting throughout the day, it's more impactful when you put it together. Yeah. And you just start building out these databases, things with the family, And I would just link those folders to your Notion database, or, you know, you don't really need to have to do that. You can just have it in here. Your editor's got access to your folder. So the three types, just to recap, 3 types of B-roll. I would say 0.5, shoot most things on 0.5. Try and get all of the surroundings and what you're actually doing. If you are looking at numbers or things that are close up, use your 1x on your phone. Collect throughout the day. Aims for the next week to shoot 7 to 10 videos of B-roll, mixing things up. So you start building your database and then start putting it into folders so that you can easily go back to it, or your editor can. Let's say you're running out of content ideas. You've used your script writer and you're like, right, I can do that. I've got videos of me playing with my kids, you know, like chilling, cooking. I've got all of that. Or I documented my day. I can easily do a voiceover and say, right, this is what happened today. So this will save you time, and it's going to allow you to visually tell a story, which is equally as important as what you say. So that's it on B-roll. I'm going to give you access to all these folders. Well, not my B-roll folder, but the database, and get started shooting B-roll today. Do not hang about.